Do you want to create custom designs for your Cricut projects, but you don't know where to start? If you said yes, then you are in the right place. So, welcome to the free training. Create your own custom designs for your Cricut projects. If you're excited about this free training, go ahead and put a thumbs up in the chat. And we do have the chat below this video on the page, so you might have to scroll down a little bit to see it, but if you're excited, go ahead and put a thumbs up in the chat. And also go ahead and let us know, where are you tuning in from? We'd love to know. So hi, I'm Shanice from Hypnotic Glamour Designs. I'm an SVG designer, and I help crafters just like you create their own custom designs, even if they don't know where to start. And for the past year and a half, I've been designing custom designs in Cricut Design Space, as well as teaching other crafters how to do that. So by the end of this free training, you will gain the confidence that you need to get started designing your own custom designs for your Cricut projects. So just imagine, look at all of these designs you see here on the screen. So imagine being able to make custom designs just like these ones you see here. So these were actually all made from scratch in Cricut Design Space, 100% free. Of course, we're going to get into that, but just imagine being able to make designs just like the ones you see here on the screen. So before we do get into the training, I do have a free bonus for you for joining us. So I have a free copy of the Confident Crafter's Planner, which is a ultimate guide to help you plan and organize your craft projects. So just keep watching and I will share with you how you can get your free copy. All right, so here is what we're going to be covering in this training. We are going to be going over 3 big myths that crafters believe about Cricut Design Space, 3 big mistakes that I see a lot of crafters make, and you're probably making them too. Then we're going to go through my proprietary design framework so you know where you need to start. And then we're going to do a demo. I'm going to actually show you in Cricut Design Space from scratch how to make a design. And then we're going to go through the next step of the process. I have something to share with you if you want to take the knowledge that you learned from this free training and go even further with it. I will have an offer for you as we get closer near the end of the training, after the demo, of course. And then I will be taking questions if anyone has any questions, either on this training or about the offer that I will be presenting. So we do have the chat box below. Remember, it's below this video. You might have to scroll down a bit to see it. So if you do have any questions that come up, go ahead and ask your questions in that chat box below. And when we get to the Q&A session later on, I will review it so then we can answer any questions that you may have. And then after we do the questions, then I will share with you how you can get that bonus gift, which is that free planner. All right, so let's jump right in. So 3 of the biggest myths that crafters believe about Cricut Design Space. So one big myth is they believe that it's too complicated of a program. So why that is not true is actually Cricut Design Space is quite user-friendly. It's just a matter of being able to understand the tools, knowing how they work, and knowing when to use them. That's where people tend to think that the program is complicated, and it's just because they don't have an understanding of the tools and how they work. Another thing that people believe is they believe you actually need to be a designer. So that is completely false. You can be a complete beginner and be able to make your own custom designs from scratch in Cricut Design Space. The key there is having clear step-by-step instructions on how to do so. And another big myth, people believe that it's just too expensive to make your own designs with Cricut Design Space. So you can actually make custom designs, quite versatile designs, completely for free. You don't have to pay for a Cricut access or anything like that. And of course, I will show you that when we get to the demonstration of this presentation. All right, so which of these myths did you believe before we went through them? Is it you thought it was too complicated, you must be a designer, or you thought it was too expensive? And I do have a poll in the chat that you can go down and just take that poll and just let us know which of these three big myths did you believe? All right, so now let's get into some mistakes. So here are three big mistakes, some of which you are probably making. So three big mistakes that crafters make when trying to learn how to make their own designs in Cricut Design Space is they are doing way too much. What I mean by that is they're trying to take on everything at once. Cricut Design Space has a lot of tools, a lot of menus, so it's very easy to get frustrated and overwhelmed if you try to tackle everything all at once. What you need to do instead is break everything down into bite-sized pieces. So what I mean by that is focus on just one tool at a time. I recommend focusing on the combined tools because those are the essential tools that you will use to make custom designs. So start with just one of those tools and master that, and then move on to the next and just take it in increments like that. So another big mistake that people make is they are jumping from video to video. So they'll go on YouTube and they'll search, they'll look at one video on how to do something, jump to another video, try to figure out how to do something. So what the problem is with that is there are different people that are teaching these videos. So they have different teaching styles. And a lot of these different pieces you have, it's not all one fluid flow to be able to create what it is that you want. You're getting bits and pieces here, you're getting bits and pieces there. So you're trying to stitch all these things together and it's just leaving you even more confused. So it's what I find is the big picture, the overall strategy really is not taught behind the tutorials. So again, like I said, you end up getting more confused. So you pick one thing to try to learn, then you're back on that hamster wheel, going to the next thing to try to learn, and the next thing, and the next thing. So, and a lot of these videos, they're not, what is taught is not, you know, universally applicable to what you might want to learn next. So again, you're back on that tutorial hamster wheel going from video to video to video. So you end up just being stuck where you started. So what you need instead is a cohesive tutorial, just like this one, that walks you through each step of the process in a clear and easy to follow way. Another mistake I see people making is they do not have enough practice. So a lot of times people tend to throw in the towel way too soon before they really even had a chance to dig in and work in the program to get an understanding of how it works. So just remember, repetition is the mother of skill, and most people, myself included, do not get something right on the first try. So really, to hone that skill, you really need to be practicing. And of course, the more you practice, the better you'll get. Okay, so which of these three big mistakes have you been making? Have you been doing too much? If so, put a 1 in the chat or the comments. Have you been jumping from video to video, trying to learn something? If so, put a 2. Or have you just not given yourself a chance to get enough practice? If so, put a 3 in the chat or the comments and let us know. All right, so now let's get into these frameworks. So once you have these frameworks down, you'll be able to come up with your design concept in minutes. So here are the 3 core frameworks that you will need in order to make your custom designs for your Cricut projects. You're going to need a design framework, you're going to need a font framework, and you're going to need a color framework. So those are the 3 basic ones, the core, that you need to create your designs. All right, so let's get into it. So the first framework is design. So there's 4 steps that you want to go through in order to brainstorm your design. So first step is you want to pick your topic or your theme. So what do I mean by topic or theme? So by that I mean, what holiday do you want to create your craft for, or event, such as maybe like a baby shower, a wedding, graduation. Or you can even use trends, like is there a quote that's hot right now, or maybe like a trendy meme. Those all fall under topic. So once you've picked your topic, you can move on to step 2. And that is picking your project. By project, I mean, what thing is it you actually want to make? Do you want to make a money card holder? Do you want to make a beach tote? Do you want to make some wall art? That's what I mean by project. Once you've selected your project you want to make, then you want to select the graphics that you want to use in that project. So when it comes to graphics, think about what type of elements represent that topic or theme that you picked. So for example, let's say we picked summer for our theme. So things that represent summer are like a beach ball, palm trees, a starfish, things like that, beachy themed stuff like that. So that's what you want to think about there. And the last thing you want to decide then is what font are you going to use. And I know what you're thinking, but fonts take me forever to pick. So don't worry, we're actually going to get into a framework. We're going to break it down even further so I can show you how you can pick a font you can pick a font in just minutes, and it's not going to take you more time to pick a font than it is going to take you to work on your actual project. So I do have, in that planner that I talked about at the beginning of this training, I do have a brainstorm page that helps you go through all of these things. And I'll show you that also once we get to that point so you can see what that looks like. So here's the brainstorm sheet that I just talked about. So you just put down your theme, your project, your graphics, and your font, and then you have everything on that brainstorm page. So when you get ready to make your design, it's all right there for you. All right, so let's get into the font framework. So I have a very simple 3-step font framework that will have you pick a font in just minutes for your project. So the first thing is you want to pick a topic or theme. So very similar to the design framework that we just went through. Next, you want to search for the font. So you want to go back to step 1 and take that topic or theme that you came up with, and then you want to attach the word font to it. So I like to use creativefabrica.com to get all my fonts. I actually have the subscription so I can download unlimited fonts completely for free. If you're interested in that site, I will leave a link also where you can get 10 free fonts. But what you're going to do is when you're searching for your font, so let's go back to our theme example. Let's say summer. So on creativefabrica.com, what you want to do is, this is the simplest way to do it. Just type in the word summer font. That's it. And the search results will bring you a list of fonts, and you can just narrow it down from there. And you can even narrow it down further by picking a different type of style, which we're going to get into that in the next step. And then I'll show you an example too of what I mean. We'll put all that together. So speaking of style, so that's the next thing you want to choose for your font. What type of font fits your project? Is it an elegant type of project, maybe like something for a wedding? If so, you want to use a script type of font. Or maybe is it something playful, maybe something for a child? Then you want to use a handwritten type of font or something similar to that. And going back to what I said, you can use the search filters when you search for your font to actually narrow down those categories even further to make it even easier to pick. So I have a bonus step here in the font framework, and that is to look for a font that has a duo or trio. So what that means is A duo or trio font are 2 or 3 fonts, as the name implies, that were actually made together to go together. And those were made by the font designer, and they were made specifically to go together or match together. So all the hard work is done for you. You don't have to try to match up a million fonts to find the perfect font combination. The designer has found the perfect font combination for you. All right, so let's go through an example of that. So this is just an example from creativefabrica.com, and all I typed in the search, actually I just typed in summer and then filtered by font, but you can also just type in search or type in summer font. Here's the search bar, and then I narrowed it down even further by the style. So under categories is where you find the styles, and it'll narrow down even further, and then you can just pick your font from there. All right, so let's get into the color framework now. So similar to the 2 previous frameworks, you want to decide on your topic or your theme, and then you want to decide on your scheme, and then you actually want to pick your colors. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the next slide. Actually, I have the color wheel, and we're gonna get into this a little bit further on what I mean by schemes and how to pick a color scheme. Okay, so this is the 12 color wheel. It consists of the 3 primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, the 3 secondary colors, orange, green, and purple, and then 6 tertiary colors, vermilion, amber, chartreuse, teal, violet, and magenta. So how this wheel is composed is the primary colors, 2 primary colors mixed together makes a secondary color, and a primary color mixed with a secondary color makes a tertiary color. So I'll just point these out. So primary, red, yellow, blue, secondary, orange, green, purple, and then the tertiary, that's a difficult word. You have the vermilion, the amber, teal. Oh wait, hold on. You have, this is vermilion, amber, teal, violet, and magenta. All right, so now let's go through some color schemes. So color schemes are just colors that are paired together based on the color wheel that are made to be complementary to one another. So I have 5 different type of color schemes here. Of course, there are more, but you know, these are just some basic ones to start out with. So let's just go through these. So the first color scheme we have here is analogous, which that means that the 2 colors on the color wheel are side by side. So for example, we have red and vermilion. There's also complementary. So those are colors that are completely opposite each other on the color wheel. So in this case, we have vermilion and teal. We have triadic, which are 3 colors that are evenly spaced on the color wheel. So we have amber, chartreuse, and teal in this example. We have split complementary, which are, it has 1 color on one side, and then on the other side of the wheel, the color that is next to, the 2 colors that are next to the color that is directly opposite of the first one. So I know that's like kind of hard to visualize, but in our example here, we have chartreuse, red, and purple. And then we have double complementary. So those are 2 separate colors with their direct opposites. So in this case, we have amber and violet, and chartreuse and magenta. And of course, you can always use black, white, and neutrals in your design as necessary. These color schemes just give you an example, and the color wheel is just gives you just a basic understanding if you're stuck, so you at least have somewhere to start. Okay, so of these 3 frameworks that we went through, which do you struggle with the most? Is it coming up with a design altogether? Is it picking the font for your design? Or is it picking colors for your design? Go ahead and let us know. If it's design, type design in the comments or the chat. If it's the font, type the font in the comments or the chat. Or if it's the colors, type colors in the comment or the chat. Okay, so now let's put all these frameworks together, and then I have this little brainstorm sheet here, or not really a brainstorm sheet, just a sheet here that we can go through and put all these pieces together into our design map, so to speak. Okay, so theme, we have summer. Project, we have a beach tote. The graphics, we have a starfish and a seashell. The font, it's called More Summer Duo. It's a duo font, a script, and a print font together. And then the colors for our design are, it's actually medium blue. I changed it. Medium blue, coral, sandy brown, and then black. All right, so now it is time to make a custom design. So I will switch into Cricut Design Space and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let me just get a quick drink of water. Okay, let's go ahead and switch on over. Okay, so here's the design we're gonna be working with today, or going to be creating, I should say. This life is better at the beach. So again, we're gonna make everything here from scratch. Aside from the fonts, of course, those are just ones that I downloaded, but the graphics, we're gonna make those from scratch. All right, let's go ahead and start with the graphics. Let's go ahead and start with the starfish. So we're just gonna use shapes for that. We're just gonna manipulate that shape to make the different arms of our starfish. But first, let's just make a little design on our starfish. And we'll make this a little bit big because the starfish is going to end up being small, just to make it easier for us to work with. I think that's good. Let's go ahead and line all of these up and then space them evenly. Oh, that didn't. Let's just leave that like that. Okay, that's fine. Unite those. Okay. Let's just make this a little bit bigger to make it easier to work with for now, and then we will rescale the size when we get to that point. Okay, let's go ahead and line these up. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and merge these to simplify this layers panel. Otherwise, it can get a little bit crazy. Okay. So one good thing about design is once you make one copy of something, if you have multiples, you literally just copy the original to make your multiple. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and make all these other arms of our starfish. Let's duplicate that. That one to the other side. Duplicate. Move that around for the other leg or arm. Last one. Okay. There we go. There's our starfish. Let's scale that down. Let's change the color to make it more like a starfish. And that's just the coral color we picked. Let's put that off to the side. Okay. You see how quick, easy, and simple that was? Let's go ahead and make our seashell now, again with shapes. Let's just scale this to the shape that we would like. Make our copies. First. That's it too far. Let's copy that. And the great thing is it's so easy to correct. If you might make a mistake, like I stretched that out a little too far, you can easily just undo and your mistake is no more. So don't be afraid to make mistakes because they do happen and they are super easy to fix. All right, now we've got those, which actually is fine. And too many, but delete that. Actually, we could have used it, but that's okay. Let's make our bottom, but first, let's line these up. Ooh, let's line these up. There we go. Take this for the bottom of the seashell. Let's line up these pieces. Let's make that all one piece. Oh, let's scoot that up a little bit. We don't want any gaps. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna have to make this a little bit bigger so I can see because I'm getting some. There we go. Let's put this on. Oh no, that's good where it is. Okay, that looks good. Now let's zoom out. Okay, now let's just make our little holes or designs in that seashell. And as you can tell, the circle is a very versatile shape. That's the only shape we've used. Of course, it's not the only shape you can use, but as I was saying, it is very versatile, so that's why we're able to use it for so many things. Let's change the color of this now. Now let's make our lines. Now I'm gonna have to zoom this in a bit to make it easier to edit. Let's just turn that in. Make another one. And last one here. Let's clean up these layers a bit because it is getting to be a lot. So we're just going to merge. Back to our example really quickly. Okay. Move that back to the bottom. Okay, that looks good. Now let's make all those one piece, so then we can slice that out of here, or cut that out of here, and there. And let's merge these layers so we can clean up this layers panel and zoom out. All right. So, and there we have our seashell. That was still pretty simple. A little bit more to it, so it did take us a little bit longer, but as you see, really not a whole lot much longer. Zoom out just a little bit. Okay. Now we have our graphics. Let's go ahead and make our wording. But as you see, we made these graphics 100% from scratch for free. We didn't have to get Cricut access or anything like that. We just used the free shapes, and we were able to manipulate the free shapes into something completely different. So it just goes to show you the possibilities with Cricut Design Space. It's actually a much more powerful program than people give it credit for. It's just a matter of knowing what tools to use, how they work, and when to use them. But we'll get into that. All right, so let's add our text. Let's move this out of the way. Let's put that back up there. So we have our reference. And as you see, that did not take us much time at all to make those. All right, let's make our life. Get our blue, and then a simple way to keep the same size is just duplicate that and change the word. With the other font from that duo. Duplicate that. All right, now let's just move these around to get our spacing and our alignment just the way we want it. And then let's move our graphics in. Change this to black. Okay, and there's our design. Okay, so I see in the poll that we have that Cricut Design Space is too complicated. After watching the demo here and going through the frameworks, do you still think it's too complicated? Let me know in the chat. If there's anything that you still are finding hard to grasp, go ahead and put that in the chat. I want to know. All right, so let's look at that mock-up of that beach tote. Actually, there, let's just put this off to the side. So there's our design. Super easy, simple, and quick for us to make from scratch in Cricut Design Space. All right, so, oh, my slide didn't advance. Okay, so now do you see how easy it is to create your own designs from scratch in Cricut Design Space? If now you think it's easy, go ahead and put a yes in the chat or the comments. If there's somewhere that you're still kind of stuck, put that in the chat or the comments too. I want to know. All right. So let's go through some of the benefits of creating your own custom design from scratch in Cricut Design Space. So the benefits are, when you make your own design from scratch in Cricut Design Space, that is a ready to cut design, meaning there is no conversion or cleanup required. The design is ready to make on the canvas. You have your cut ready file. Literally, you can just hit make it and you're done. The next benefit is that there's nothing to upload. As you see, we designed everything right there on the canvas, directly on the canvas. Nothing to download, nothing to upload, none of that. And we made it completely for free. I use nothing but free shapes. Of course, the fonts, those are ones that I bought with my subscription, but the graphics that we're able to make, completely free elements. And you see that we're able to transform those circles into something totally different. So here's some designs here that you see. These were all made from scratch in Cricut Design Space. This is, of course, the same designs that I showed you at the beginning of the presentation. Don't mind this. I should have deleted that down there. These are custom designs in Cricut Design Space. Every single one of them was made with a free element, didn't pay for anything. So do you see the possibilities now? Do you now see how this can be you making your own designs from scratch in Cricut Design Space, not having to rely on other designers or trying to search the internet forever looking for a design for your custom design? So everything we went through here are the frameworks to get you started with being able to come up with the ideas so you can execute and make your own custom Cricut designs. But how would you like to take that even further? Would you like to take that even further and be able to understand what you need to use to actually make the designs just as you see me make? If so, put a yes in the chat or the comments if you want to take the next step in this process. All right. So for you that have said you want to take the next step in this process, I have to present to you the Create Your Own Custom Designs in 5 Days workshop. So this is a workshop that gives you the confidence that you need to create your own designs from scratch in Cricut Design Space, just as you see me do. You now have the core frameworks to be able to come up with the design concepts and to come up with the designs. So the next step to get you there to be able to execute is to understand how these tools work, how the tools work that I use today. And this workshop does just that. So I do have a fast action bonus for you being here on this free training with me today, where you can actually get this workshop, which is valued at $460 for just $47. And that's the fast action bonus price, of course, which will go away at the end. Once the timer is up, that price will go away, but we'll get into how you can actually get on the page to view that here in a second. So here's everything that actually comes with that workshop. And of course, we'll get into each of these things, but just so you get an idea of everything that you're getting and the value of the actual workshop. So let's go through it. So this is what you'll get when you purchase the workshop, the How to Create Your Own Custom Designs in 5 Days workshop today. And of course, it's actually 5 lessons broken down. You can break it down and do one a day. That's why it says 5 days. You could knock them all out in one day if you wanted to, but just, of course, we discussed in the beginning, you don't want to take on too much at once. But let's get into what's inside of the workshop. So you will get the step-by-step training series of 5 videos with a lifetime access. That is a $300 value. That is so you have clear and easy to follow instructions so you know exactly what you need to do. The lifetime access is so you can watch it again and review if you need to. And each of these 5 videos actually goes over just one tool at a time, one of the essential tools at a time. So you can work on that tool, master it, and then you can move on to the next one. So it's a $300 value. You will also get the lifetime access to this training, because this is not a training that's actually going to stay up forever. This is only a 72-hour training. So once 72 hours is up, this training is actually going to go away. So when you purchase that workshop, you will have lifetime access to this training that we went through today. So you have all the frameworks that you need to get started. And then of course that step-by-step video training series with the 5 videos and the lifetime access. So those are valued at $360. You will also get the Cricut Design Space Essential Tools Guide. So you have a foundational knowledge of the essential tools that you need to create your own designs in Cricut Design Space. And we did use some of those tools today, by the way. So you'll also get the lifetime access to this training that you're watching right now, as well as the step-by-step video training series with those 5 videos with lifetime access. So that's a $380 value. You will also get a copy of the Confident Crafter's Planner, so you can stay on track and keep organized with your craft projects. You'll get the Cricut Design Space Essential Tools Guide, lifetime access to this training that you're watching, and the step-by-step video training series with those 5 videos with lifetime access. So that's a $400 value. Also, you will get the Custom Designs Ideas Guide. This is a guide that gives you ideas of designs that you can make from scratch in Cricut Design Space. So you have various ideas for any occasion. You get the Confident Crafter's Planner, the Cricut Design Space Essential Tools Guide, lifetime access to this training that you're watching right now, and a step-by-step video training series with those 5 videos with lifetime access. So total value of all that is $420. You will also get the simple 3-step font framework. So that is so you can spend less time on picking a font and more time on working on your actual project. You'll get that Custom Designs Ideas Guide, the Confident Crafter's Planner, the Cricut Design Space Essential Tools Guide, lifetime access to this training that you're watching right now, and the step-by-step video training series with those 5 videos with lifetime access. That's $440. And you'll also get the Color Theory Guide. So that goes into even more depth on color theory and how to pick colors and schemes for your projects. That's so you can pick a color scheme quickly. You'll get the simple 3-step font framework, the Custom Designs Ideas Guide, the Confident Crafter's Planner, the Cricut Design Space Essential Tools Guide, lifetime access to this training that you're watching right now, and a step-by-step video training series with those 5 videos with lifetime access. That is $460. So if all this workshop did was finally give you the knowledge and the confidence you need to create your own custom designs for your Cricut projects, would it be worth it? If it saved you time from searching through countless Facebook group dumps for that perfect design, would it be worth it? Or if it saved you money by no longer having to buy a design but be able to create it yourself for free, would it be worth it? So you have 2 choices right now. So you can continue to feel overwhelmed and stuck and not knowing where to start with design, so you can make your own designs for your project. You can continue to think Cricut Design Space is complicated, so you don't even bother or just get stuck. You can waste your time fishing for the internet for free images, or you can spend way too much time converting and cleaning up the images that you find on the internet, leaving you less time for your actual crafting process. You can try to convert a low quality image to SVG, just end up frustrated that it's not even a usable file. Or you can get the Create Your Own Custom Designs in 5 Days workshop and spend more time on what matters most, which is crafting. So the longer that you wait, the longer that you're going to be overwhelmed, the longer that you're going to think that Cricut Design Space is too complicated to use. So when you get that workshop, you can start making your own designs and you'll never have to worry about any of those issues that we went through ever again. Okay, so for that fast action bonus price that I mentioned at the beginning of this little at the beginning of what we're talking about here with this workshop. So in order to access that, there's a button actually below this video. that you can click that will take you to the page that you can purchase that workshop. So there is a timer on that page though. So once you click the button on the page, and let me just, the button says I'm ready to start. Once you click that button that says I'm ready to start, the timer does start. And once the timer is up, that fast action bonus price of $47 is done and it's going up. Let's see here. Okay, so now let's get into some questions that we have about the Create Your Own Custom Designs in 5 Days workshop. And again, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments or the chat below, so then we can answer them here for you at this time. Let me check to see if we have any before we get started with the questions that we already have. Okay. Okay. So, first question, will I even be able to use this training even if I've never designed anything before? So, yes. The workshop has clear and easy to follow step-by-step instructions that walk you through every part of the custom design process from start to finish. Next question. Yeah, but I can get free images anywhere. Why do I need this? So yes, that is true. You can get free images anywhere, but those come with their own problems. Most of the time, they require cleanup and conversion in order to even be usable, if you can get them usable. And a lot of times those images are stolen, so legally you can't use them anyway. Next question, do I need to invest more money? So no, the price you see is an all-inclusive price of everything that we went over. Of course, the $47 is the special fast action bonus price that goes away once the timer on the page is up. So of course you can still get the workshop, just not at that price once the timer goes up. So how long will it take to make my custom designs? So with the clear and easy to follow step-by-step instructions in that workshop, you'll be able to have a custom design in minutes. You saw how quick it was for us to be able to make that design, right? So that could be you too. Once you understand the tools and how to use them, which that workshop goes through, you'll have your designs cranking out in just minutes. Okay, next question. But what if I'm bad at designing? So not a problem at all. You don't need to know anything about design to be able to follow this workshop, because it gives the clear and easy to follow step-by-step instructions. So it literally walks you through everything. So what do I get again that's special? So with the workshop, you'll have the confidence you need to start creating your custom designs. And of course, you have that unbeatable, unbelievable fast action bonus price of $47, of course, if you purchase before the timer on the page goes up. And that's, of course, 90% off the $460 value of that actual workshop. So just to recap, of course, you'll get the step-by-step training with those 5 videos that go through each of the 5 essential tools that you need to create your own designs. It's going to show you what the tools are, how to use them, when to use them. And then there's lifetime access to that workshop, of course. You'll get lifetime access to this training. Excuse me. So you have your foundation, your core foundation, to be able to start with the design process. And then, of course, you'll get all of those guides that we mentioned previously. So is there some type of money back guarantee? So no, due to the digital nature of this product, all sales are final. However, if you have a problem with the workshop or any of the guides or anything like that at any time, don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email is shop@hypnoticglamourdesigns.com, and I am more than happy to help you there. All right, so let's just check the chat to see if we had any other questions come in. Okay. All right, so remember to get that fast action bonus price, click that button on this page below. This is I'm ready to start. It'll take you to the page where you can get that fast action bonus price. Again, once that price goes, or once the timer goes off, that price is no longer available. All right, so let's get into the free gift, which is the Confident Crafter's Planner. And I will drop the link for that right here in the chat, so you can go ahead and grab that up. And that is my gift to you for attending the training today, the free training today. So that's dropped in the chat. Go ahead and grab that up so you have that to start planning your craft projects. And again, make sure that you take advantage of that fast action bonus price of the how to create your own custom designs in 5 days workshop. Just click the button below this video that says I'm ready to start and grab that fast action bonus price.